Let's get right to this because I've got a lot to talk about, specifically the lockup on this Benchmade Griptilian. Blade is 154 cm, drop point. It's got a BK1 black coating on it, and of course you can see it has the thumb stud opening on both sides. I really like this blade style, the drop point. Aesthetically I like it, functionally I like it as well. Blade length on it is about almost 3.5, just shy of. And this blade came so sharp right out of the box. Loved it. In fact, I got it and thought, man, this is probably one of the sharpest blades I've got right out of the box. I've put this blade through a lot of work. I've put it through the cardboard, stabbing the cardboard, slicing the cardboard, and a lot of other stuff. And I've always been able to bring that blade back to a hair-popping sharp, which it is right now after we just took it out and thumped on it today. The black coating on this seems to wear pretty well. It's held up to a lot of abuse. You can see it's been worn there. But considering what I've put it through so far, that's that kind of a cool wear, right? It's not just going to rub off if you're using it on something. And for the price point of this blade, it better not. But it's a pretty nice coating from what I've noticed so far. Lockup. Lockup has been excellent. The deployment has been excellent. In fact, this is the smoothest knife I've ever had. The way it comes out, the way it comes back in. While we're talking about it, this locking mechanism, this is the access locking mechanism. Kind of see both sides there. What I really like about this is, you know, knives, all knives are kind of the one-hand deployment, or most knives are. And this makes it easy to put the blade back in. You see how that works? I love that. I've said this before in other reviews. You know, I like the liner locks because you can push here and then push the blade down with one hand. This, however, is so much faster. Now, when I first got the blade, I was a little disappointed because doing this, it stopped about right there every time. But then over time, it kind of loosened, wore in a little bit, and as you can see, in fact, that one went in so far it bounced back out. You can see, boom, it goes right back in. And I really like that. What I find using my EDC a lot is I'm doing something, I'm cutting, and you need to use both hands. And a lot of times I just don't like to throw my blade down and have it open like that. I like to immediately close it, put it back in my pocket, and be done with it. So that's one thing I really like about this mechanism. In fact, they say this mechanism is supposed to be one of the strongest on the market right now if properly used. I emphasize that for a reason. If properly used, one of the strongest locking mechanism on the market. Now, you've already seen the video to this. As we were kind of whacking on the back of this blade, you actually see this locking mechanism. I'm not going to call it a fail. Because we were doing something with the blade. I mean, that's what we were trying to do, is really push this blade to the limits. In fact, having seen what it did gives me even more confidence in this locking mechanism. Let me explain. When it came down, if you look in the video, you can actually see the access lock, or this portion of the mechanism. You can kind of see it start to work itself down and the blade fold. Just like that. But at first, I didn't really know what happened, and I thought that I'd caught this piece on a tree branch that kind of pushed it forward and therefore put that stress on it and just made it fold. And coming home and watching the video, clearly could see that that wasn't the case. But my point is, it did that, and I didn't even recognize that it did because there's no evidence of it whatsoever. I mean, it didn't do anything here. It didn't damage anything inside here whatsoever. And again, that type of use for this blade, that's not what this is designed for. The blade isn't meant to be pounded on right here. You get a fixed blade with a full tang to do that, not this. So I was really overall impressed with how it handled itself given the abuse that we gave it. Very impressed with it. And now it still locks up. It's still smooth. Love it. Really, really like that. Also, with all that work that we've done to it, you can see a little bit left and right. And you know what? Every single one of my knives has a little bit of left and right. That's just the way it's going to be. Nothing back and forth. And we pounded on that blade. We really ran this blade through the gamut. So to me, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with that locking mechanism and with that part of the blade overall. The handle is a kind of a high plastic strength, and I did a lot of pounding on the back end too, and actually, take a look at this. You can't really even tell. So it held up well to some whacking. One thing that some people may not like is, again, this is kind of a fatty. It's a little bit big. Again, me, I don't mind the width on the handle at all. Not at all. So this isn't a concern to me. Now, this is very lightweight. If you can kind of see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it inside, a little bit. The liners inside, they come down, do a little turn down here, and then come up. So they're very minimized in there, which helps with the weight of the knife. The weight of the knife is very nice, and you know what? I can't remember it, so I'll just annotate it. But what it does is some people think it's a little bit blade heavy, and it is. But again, for me, not that big of an issue. Not that big of an issue at all. The jimping up top, this is functional jimping, especially right here on the blade, on the spine of the blade. This right here is very adequate. It does lock in, locks your finger in very well. This is really good up top. Also, they've put the jimping under here, and that's, all right, thumb, finger. You know, a lot of times you'll be cutting like this. Of course, they're putting it in the right spots. Also, look where they're putting the grip here, the texturing. Right? Right as my fingers wrap around that, making the best use of it there. Also, they've got it right here to help lock it in your palm a little bit, and also right under here, kind of where some of those pressure points are. The clip on this, very strong clip, like this a lot. It's reversible left to right, but it will only carry in the tip up fashion. So this is truly an ambidextrous knife, but just tip up only. And for me, you guys know that's my preference, so it doesn't bug me at all. The ergos on the handle are very nice too. It's just a very, very comfortable handle. Not a lot of stuff going on with it. It's, you know, very simply designed right here. Of course, you do have a little bit of flare out there to lock your finger in, along with that jimping that I mentioned. But it's very simple but very functional, and I like that. I like that quite a bit. The use of this knife is going to be your EDC use. You're not going to take this out to the forest. You're not going to hammer on it like you saw me doing in the video. But again, we're just wanting to have some fun and work the blade. I tried to establish a happy medium between what I've already mentioned, if you've watched the previous video, between, hey, this is a knife, this part's black, this part's green, okay, that's my review, thanks, I'm done. Trying to balance it between that and throwing it under a steamroller, rolling it over and say, well, yeah, look at that, the blade fell, the steamroller just crushed it. You know, trying to do that happy medium to make it worthwhile. And I hope that was fun for you guys to watch. It was fun for me to go out and do it. It really was. This overall is a very, very cool knife. In fact, I would say that at this point, this has been my favorite folder. I love the black blade, love the shape of the blade, Love this OD green. Like the combination of the OD green and black. That is just cool. The access lock, for that reason, I like it. Very smooth going in and out. And even though we've been banging on it, still very smooth going in and out. So, all right, I'm going to try to end this one. Hope I didn't forget anything. I feel like I did. But overall, awesome, awesome blade. It'll run you about $80 to $100 depending on what type of blade. They've got a lot of different color variations on the handle. They do have a sheep's foot version of the blade, and I think the sheep's foot has the deployment hole rather than the thumb stud. And there's also some aftermarket grips you can get for this too if you look around. But right here is what I like. Really like that green on black. Benchmade Griptilian. This is the 551. Awesome knife. Very much like it. My favorite EDC to date. Thanks, guys.